God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Something awesome and incredible, where only He can get the glory. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Something awesome and incredible, where only He can get the glory. God is doing something wonderful in me. So wonderful. And then you sing, so wonderful, so marvelous, so marvelous, so beautiful, so beautiful. God is doing it on the inside. God is doing it on the inside. And it's showing up on the outside. And it's showing up on the outside. God is doing something wonderful, incredible, and awesome. God is doing something wonderful in me. So wonderful, say that. So wonderful, so marvelous, so marvelous, so beautiful, so beautiful. God is doing it on the inside. God is doing it on the inside. And it's showing up on the outside. And it's showing up on the outside. God is doing something wonderful, incredible, and awesome. God is doing something wonderful in me. Thank you, choir.
And so that's something wonderful in me that Yve was singing about and brought me to that presence and that quiet. And I kind of wanted to pause and enjoy that space between the music and our beginning of our service today. So I invite those of you online, our love streamers online, whether you're near or far or in between, to find that something wonderful. And that's something marvelous right where you are. And I'm knowing that something wonderful and marvelous is unfolding right here at Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont today. And that something wonderful is knowing that this center is beautifully and bountifully blessed. And part of our blessing that we share with our community is a food for fellowship meal. And so after service, every Sunday we do a full fellowship meal. And today it's fried chicken and corn on the cob and lots of sides and salads and all kinds of good stuff. So if you're in the sanctuary, stay for that fellowship meal. If you're new, I know Tammy hasn't been here for a while. I will connect with you at fellowship lunch. Richard, I will connect with you. I haven't seen you in a while. It's wonderful seeing you here. So something wonderful and marvelous is happening at CSL Beaumont today. And that's people who haven't visited in a while are back visiting again. So we're grateful to see you. And now we'll read our vision statement. And our vision statement, and it's our vision statement for Centers for Spiritual Living, not just ours at Beaumont, but we're an affiliate, and so we align with this. A world that works for everyone. Not a world that works for someone, or a world that works for you, or a world that works for me, but a world that works for all of us in harmony. Our purpose is awakening humanity, and Yve sang of it, our spiritual magnificence, our marvelousness, that amazing energy that's within us. And how do we awaken that? How do we spark that? How do we bring that absolutely extraordinary that's within us to the ordinary of our everyday lives? And that's what our talk's about today. It's exactly what our talk will be about, that extraordinary within. How do we bring it to the ordinary without? And our mission is transforming lives one thought at a time. And now I will invite Yvonne Fowler up to do our announcements at this time. So there you go with your announcements, and I'll run the slides for you.
You.
Mr. Rogers says hello, so say howdy to your neighbor before we go to the announcement. Just say howdy, how are you? A namaste, or a handshake, or a smile. You know, we like to say in Science of Mind, the smile goes on for miles and miles and miles. So your smile will go on for miles and miles and miles today. And now the June announcements.
The June announcements. And the first one is about the flower ministry right here. The beautiful flowers, and they're going to be up for raffle after at lunchtime. So get your money ready because I've got mine. And the next one here is our Science of Mind, how to speak Science of Mind. And we have this, it's on the first and third Sunday of every month, and it starts at 9 o'clock. It's only for half an hour. And what we do is we just open the book and pick out a page, and then we discuss it. And it's always interesting, and it's always timely. So please think about coming earlier and joining us for that casual discussion. And then we also have Good Grief, which is a support group that happens 1 to 2:30 on Tuesdays. And so if you got anything on your mind, or if you just want to talk about anything, or just be with people and get some support, that's the time to come. 1 to 2:30 on Tuesdays, and it's facilitated by Reverend Michael. And then we also have More Than We Seem. It's a book study group. It's at my house, and Reverend Neil is the facilitator. And it's just questions and answers that have been given to Jesse Jennings over time. And he writes the question, and then he answers it. But the way we do it is Neil asks the question, and then we think about it, what it means to us, and then we see what Reverend Jenkins thinks about it. So it's been very interesting and thought-provoking. So please join us if you like. And then we have another, it's not a book study, but it's a discussion group, and it's Doing the Thing and Walking the Talk, and it's by Adrian, Practitioner Adrian, and it starts at 5 o'clock, or 5:30 rather, on Tuesdays, and it's right here in the sanctuary or in Carter Hall. So if you want to come for that, Doing the Thing and Walking the Talk, it's about how the journey through practicing the Science of Mind, bring questions, gain answers, and learn the practice that will move you forward on your path. And that's by Adrian, so please come to that too, 5:30 on Tuesdays. And then we have a 4th of July.
We have an invitation from Centers for Spiritual Living Palm Springs. They are doing a 4th of July party at Laura and Annie Meek's home. You met Laura and Annie Meeks here the first year I was here. They did a seminar for us, and it's at their home. If you would like to go, it's from 2 until 6 on Saturday, the 4th of July. It's a wonderful party. It's a potluck, and Palm Springs is inviting us to join with them. So if you'd like to get to know CSL Palm Springs a little better, and Reverend Eunice a little better, their practitioners a little better, and their membership a little better, talk to me. I will give you the address. You can email me or talk to me today. I will give you their address. You just show up at 2 o'clock. It is a potluck. There are going to be about 75 people there. So let's join them. It's a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July celebration. It is a pool party. Bring your bathing suit, bring a potluck, and join us. So reach out to me and I'll get you the address for that, for the Meeks' home. It's a beautiful home and a beautiful 4th of July event. So let's join Palm Springs and support them in all that they have going on as well. They support us, let's support them.
Sounds good to me. And then we're having our 4th of July chili cook-off on the 5th, which is on Sunday. So that's right after the service. So any of you that can make special chili, make sure you're in the chili cook-off. We have it every year, and it's always a lot of fun. And our metaphysical movie for the week is E.T. And it's really special to me because I'm a nurse and I'm an E.T. nurse. And when it came out, how do you say it? extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial.
Yeah, being it was. I even have the dolls, so it's a good movie, and we'll be able to discuss the metaphysical meaning of it.
And we have spaghetti dinner from 5 to 5:40, and then the movie, and then discussion.
And I guess we can call it the annual yard sale. We have lots of things left over from Fern that we're bringing over to the center on Thursday, which is the 9th. And then we're going to have the yard sale from Friday and Saturday. And Emmy gave us a good idea. You know, Thursday night is,
Beaumont Nights.
yes, over on, what is it, on Beaumont. And if we have a sign and encourage people to come on this way, maybe we'll even get some traffic on Thursday. So bring all your slightly used things, and please bring your clothes on hangers so that we don't have quite as much work to do to get ready for it. And that's going to be, you can bring them in any time on that week, but especially on Thursday, okay? And then we'll figure out how we're going to invite the community in for our sale, okay? And we also have the shared prayer circle after the service. So it's in the Om room, and Adrian is our practitioner that's in charge of that. So please be prepared to come and stay for just a few minutes before we have our dinner, okay? And then our community potluck. And
Yeah.
he's already talked about that, and it does look good out there.
And we also have our You Can Heal Your Life class. It is sold out at this time. If you are interested in doing it and want to get on a wait list, we'll put you on a wait list, but everyone who's signed up, there's a spot for you. And if you'd like to get on a wait list, put your name on the list, and we'll see, if some people can't make it, whatever, we'll see how it shows up just before we go up. So that's going to be happening, and that's going to be the second Monday in July for 5 consecutive Mondays. So that's happening as well.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
and now we'll have Yve take us into our second song.
Boy, this is going so fast. You know, I've been here for several visits, and I'd like to let everybody know that because of you, I'll be here every fourth Sunday. And I appreciate you including me and your family here. And I never... We are our Heavenly Father's children, and we all know that He loves us one and all. Yet there are times when we find we answer another's voice that calls. If we are willing, He will teach us His voice to only obey no matter where. For He knows, yes, He knows just how much we can bear. Think of the times when you've asked a question and down in your heart you said, oh Lord, what shall I do? Then you confide in, well, I do sometimes too, in a friend or loved one, not so much anymore. And they have troubles too. There's a God who rules earth and heaven. In Him there's relief from every single pain and care. For He knows, yes, He knows just how much we can bear. Though the road sometimes gets heavy, we're never left alone to bear it all. Just ask for strength and keep on toiling. Though teardrops fall, we have the joy of His assurance. Our Heavenly Father will always, always answer our prayers, for He knows, yes, yes, He knows just how much. Sometimes we think it's too much, but He's got us. Just how much we can bear.
And so what I love about Yve being here, she finds that kind of that soft spot in our heart. And in that soft spot in our heart, and as we allow Yve in, we allow in that wonderful, I was going to say angelic. I don't know if she will go with that word. Wonderful. Yeah, she's questioning that.
It's too much,
wonderful, angelic.
Too much pressure.
And,
too much pressure.
Yeah, an energetic feeling of that essence, of that presence, of that one. And so in that soft spot that we're always looking to find, it's always there. But as we find our way to it through the music and through meditation and through the message, our heart begins to open and expand and grow and embrace so much more than we've ever known before. And so in my hometown, we had a Journey Church. In my hometown, we had a Journey Dog Rescue. And in my hometown, we had a Journey Cemetery. And what they all shared in common was the same tagline: we have a spot for you. So I have a spot in my heart that is welcoming each of you and all of you home today. It's a spot in my heart. It's not a hole in my heart. It's a spot in my heart that softens. And it softens every day with prayer. It softens every day with meditation. It softens every day with journaling. It softens every day in being that presence of that consciousness of knowing that all is well all the time. And all is well all the time, especially when we embrace the knowing that I am at home in the heart of love. And that's today's affirmation. And I invite you to say that. Oh, and I'm noticing the slide matches Lois's sweater. So she's keyed up with it. She matched our slide today. So there's synchronicity. Right there is synchronicity. That's how it works. So I invite us to say this together. I'll read it. Let's read it together and find it in that soft spot in our heart. That's what we're working on today. It's there. Find your way to the softness of that and say it from the softness of that spot of love in your heart. I am at home in the heart of love. One more time. I am at home in the heart of love. And one more time for good measure. I am at home in the heart of love. And so, how do we find our way home to the heart of love in this real world? Sometimes we can find our way home by the simplicity of looking at our car or our automobile and knowing that in that car, in that automobile, is the presence of Spirit. Jim Terrell shares this about our automobile. He says a car can be a comforting companion. Have you ever looked at a car that way, as your comforting companion? Tina's nodding yes, she has at times looked at that. And it can teach us to be the master mechanic of our life, and of not just fixing what's under the hood of our car, but what's revealing within our heart. Some of us need a love tune-up. Some of us need a love realignment, and some of us need a complete love overhaul. So whether you're in need of a tune-up or a realignment or a major overhaul, we can find our way from that magnificence of that softness of the love in our heart, that extraordinary, incredible energy, by bringing it forth through the presence of our car. And so our driving lesson number 1, how many of you remember this? This is my generation. If you're under 50, you may not remember this. You can trust your car to the man who wears the star, the big red Texaco star. Oh. I see Joan going, oh, I remember that now. Do you remember that? That was the Texaco slogan. You can trust your car to the man who wears the star, the big red Texaco star. And I know when I was traveling as a teenager on the road, I always looked for that big red Texaco star because it made me feel at home. Made me feel at home as I saw that down the road, and I knew there would be time to get a tune-up and check the dipstick. And while you can trust your car to the man who wears the star, always trust your heart to the soulful whispers within. Trust your heart to the soulful whispers within. In 1957, my dad brought home a brand new 1957 Ford station wagon, 4-door, 6-cylinder inline engine. It was the first new car my parents were able to afford. Dad coming out of the war, getting his life together, and a family of 3, and the first time they could afford a brand new car in the driveway. It came with an instruction manual in the glove box and an inline 6-cylinder engine under the hood. It wasn't the instruction manual in the glove box that my dad went to when he wanted to tune up that car. He went to a broomstick in the garage. He would lift the hood, listen to the purr of the engine. I don't know how many of you done this. If you haven't, I don't know if you can do it on the new engines, because my new engine has a big plastic shield over it. I can't even see the engine, so I don't think you can do this on the new cars. But he would take that broomstick that he had in the garage, he'd put it to his ear, put the other part to the engine, right to the engine, and he'd listen. And he'd listen into the silence of that engine that was beyond the noise of the engine without. And he could hear if it was aligned, if it was in tune, if it needed major work. He taught me to hear the sounds of the engine within, beyond the noise of the engine without. He taught me to hear the pings through that broomstick when the fuel was too rich or the air feed was too lean, and to adjust the carburetor accordingly. And then we'd go down to the Amoco station down the road after he'd done his Sunday tune-up while Mom was cooking lunch. This was our Sunday routine after church. And he took it down to the Amoco station. The guy had a timing light and a light and electronics. And he had had my dad run the test, and it was in perfect alignment. It was in perfect tune. So sometimes in this life, which is really hurried and really busied, and sometimes we worry a lot, if we'll just take the time, maybe not to find a broomstick, but to find that soft spot in your heart through music, through meditation, through being present with yourself, through a bird in a tree, you find your way to that soft spot. And in that soft spot in your heart, listen to the whispers within and listen to what it's telling you. Is your heart in rhythm with spirit? Is your heart in synchronicity with the beauty and the bounty of blessings of heaven within that heart? And can you listen into that soft spot of your heart and hear what your heart is asking you to grow into, to grow more fully into, to bring more fully into the world? So whether it's a broomstick on an engine, or music, or a bird in a tree, or nature, or just time with yourself. I'd like an extra 2 or 3 minutes in the shower. I don't usually get it Sunday morning, but 2 or 3 extra minutes in the shower, and I just can find that soft spot in my heart. And that's what Ernest Holmes invites you to listen to. That's what Ernest Holmes invites you to hear into and feel into. And as you feel into that softness of the love in your heart, to bring it forth into the fullness of the expression and experience of who you are right now on earth. Jim Terrell shares this about driving lessons. It's not about sticking rigidly to the instruction manual. It's about learning to feel and to listen into the engine of our heart and soul. It's about aligning with what we truly need for our spiritual growth. It's not just about our immediate desires or momentary wants or unnecessary needs or that quick purchase at the supermarket checkout line of that candy bar. That might be your desire, but it might not be what spiritual is wanting you to grow more fully into. Wonderful. But sometimes we want to listen into the fullness of that soft spot of our heart and not into the sweetness of that candy bar that is calling us from without. Driving lesson number 2. These are all driving lessons that I learned along the way from my dad, but then Spirit brings them back into my life. Isn't that interesting? That some of the wisdom that our parents shared with us that we did not know as wisdom when we were a child, we didn't quite accept it as wisdom. But then along the way, Spirit reminds us of the things that our parents taught us. And my dad was always point the car in the direction he wanted to go. If we were taking a family trip and we packed that station wagon to the gills, right up to the top. I remember one trip we were moving from Ohio to Connecticut in that car. And the mattresses, our mattresses, my brother's mattress and mine were in the car, and we were on top of the mattresses right up against the roof of that hood for a 10-hour drive to Connecticut. We were lying down on the mattresses. I don't know why we didn't get a ticket, but we didn't. But I remember the night before, my dad, car packed, backed the station wagon out so it was facing forward so he could pull forward out of the driveway. He didn't have to back out of the driveway. He always faced the car in the direction he wanted to be going. And along our way in life, who comes along to tell us the very same thing? Who wants to tell us the very same thing? Point your car in the direction you want to be going. Have it positioned. Ernest Holmes. And there's a song from Dreamgirls, I don't know if you know it, and I will kind of sing it, but it goes like this. Got me a Cadillac, 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 got me a Cadillac car. I got me a Cadillac, Cadillac, Cadillac. Look at me, mister, I'm a star. I'm on the move, I'm getting on, I'm breaking out, and it won't take long. Behind the wheel, I've got a song, pedals down full, and I'm going, 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 I'm moving on. That'd be Ernest Holmes' song. Thank you. That would be Ernest Holmes' song. He loved his Cadillac. It was his treasure. It was his pride and joy. He drove it everywhere he went. And wherever he went, he would ask the valet or the person parking the car, or he would park himself in the direction he would be going. He didn't pull into a parking space so he'd have to back out. He turned it around so it was headed forward, just like my dad. He had the valet park that car at the front of the line because when I come out, I want to be going in the new direction I've been. When he left a party, he never looked back. He said, goodbye. Goodbye, and he never looked back. He always moved forward in his car. And he always moved ahead into the desire and the intention that he wanted to be moving. Always point your car in the direction you want to be going. That's one of our spiritual driving lessons today. We lived in a small town in Connecticut, Western Connecticut, huge hill. Small town, huge hill, Route 57. It was a stopper of a hill because whenever it snowed, and we had ice storms in Connecticut that were gorgeous, that covered the white birch trees. You've never seen anything so beautiful. A white birch tree covered in ice. But what wasn't so beautiful was coming up Route 57. That hill leading into our town, it stopped every single car in a snowstorm. You'd have 100 cars parked at the bottom of that road. And one night, I was determined to make it. Dad was driving. I was going to make it up that hill. And we had studded snow tires. Everyone did. But I was going to be the one to make it up that hill, even though there were 100 cars that hadn't and people had walked up the hill. I'm starting up the hill. I'm about a third way up. The car starts spinning out of control. And I'm steering into the skid. And my dad says, stop steering into the skid. You're headed toward the guardrail. Start turning the car toward where you want to go. And he taught me to turn the wheel and focus ahead to where I wanted to go. Here was the guardrail we're heading at. I'm like turning into it. He said, turn in the direction you want to go. And I turned that steering wheel slowly. And by turning that steering wheel, it counteracted the rear end spinning out, and the car aligned. We made it to the top of the hill. Now, I don't know if it was the studded snow tires. I don't know if it was my obstinate determination, or I don't know if it's my dad's wisdom and his spiritual lesson, his driving lesson. Always turn your car in the direction you want to be going. Ernest Holmes, my dad. And if you're a racing fan, you know I knew Paul Newman, and he used to race at Lime Rock in Connecticut. And he always said when he was heading into the wall, he would turn his direction in the car in the direction he wanted to go, right back on the track, and it would align. All that misdirected energy will align, take you to where you want to go if you'll turn in the direction you want to be going. Science of Mind teaches us to keep our focus forward on faith and not to focus on the fear of what is behind us in our past. Terry Cole Whitaker told a story about a lady who was having a dream, and it was a very bad nightmare. And she was running as fast as she could in the direction away from where she wanted to be. She wanted to be in a dream, and she was in a nightmare, and she was running away from the nightmare, and all of her energy was taking her running away from the nightmare. And finally she says, I'm going to face my dream, and start running away from it. And she turns to this big monster that's tracing her, and she says, all right, monster, what are you going to do with me? And he goes, I don't know, lady. It's your dream. Always turn yourself in the direction of your dreams. Always turn your car in the direction you want to be going. And always turn your heart outward toward love. Because that soft spot's in there. And what the world needs now more than anything is people who are willing to be vulnerable and present and open to showing that soft spot in their heart to the world. What the world needs now, right? Yve's played it, love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. That soft spot in our heart, it's there. Find your way to soften it. Like butter. Barbara Streisand would say, soften it like butter. You know, you put the butter out on the counter and the butter just softens. Soften your heart like butter. That's the direction we want to be going. Softening our heart. Don't look back to the sunsets of your yesterdays. You've enjoyed them, you've been with them, but don't look back. Keep your eyes focused on the sunrise of new tomorrows. Driving lesson number 3, as we say goodbye to Ernest. He's driven off into a new adventure. Is drive to the edge of the light that you can see. When driving from California to New York, we can see our way in the dark if we know that our headlights shine 200 feet ahead. And if it's dark, I can only see 200 feet ahead. How can I get my way all the way to New York? You drive to the edge of the 200 feet that you can see. And then you can see another 200 feet. And then you can see another 200 feet. And then you can see another 200 feet. And 200 feet at a time, you'll find your way to New York. 200 feet at a time, you will find your way home to your dream. 200 feet at a time, you will find your way home to that soft spot of love in your heart. 200 feet at a time will take you to the moon and back, to the galaxies beyond galaxies, to the known beyond the known. 200 feet at a time. And you do that 200 feet at a time by putting one foot in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other, and moving in the direction you want to be going. You know, like a car engine, when it's out of sync, the trained mind becomes proactive, like an engine that's been tuned right. So one of the spiritual tune-ups is tuning up our mind. The car, you know, is like your soul, and the driver is you. Your spiritual life, your spiritual heart, your mind. If you look back too often at the sunrise that was, you'll miss the sunrise of tomorrow's yet to be. But if you trust the process of the driving lessons of life, you'll find that no matter how far off course you've gotten, there's always a way back. There's always a way back to that soft spot in your heart. There's always a way back. There's a way back to being at home in that soft spot of love in your heart. Driving lesson number 5, don't let fear slow you down. Don't put too hard on the brakes. Don't slam them too hard, because it stops all of your forward momentum. And what does it do? It keeps you from going in the direction you want to be going. The brakes on our car can represent the fear in our lives. Brakes are necessary. They're a good part of a car. They're a good part of a car. You don't want to buy a car without brakes, even if it's really super discounted. You don't. And when that brake light comes on, you do want to go to your service technician. You really do. Prayer, but the service technician at the same time. So brakes are necessary. They help us slow down in life when we get going too fast. We can get going too fast spiritually. We can. We can get ahead of how we prepared ourselves. If we haven't done the preparation, if we haven't done classes, if we haven't done journaling, if we haven't done rituals, if we don't spend time in nature, our mind can start spinning us ahead into a spiritual journey we're not yet ready for. So let nature be your gentle brake. Let a sunrise be your gentle brake. Maybe even a snowy hill in Weston, Connecticut. Let it be your gentle brake to remind you that, yeah, Spirit's always there, but use wisdom. Some hills aren't meant to be climbed in that moment. And if we think we've done more spiritual work than we really have, there are mountains that we're not prepared to climb yet. We will be ready to climb those mountains. We'll climb those mountains when we open to that soft spot of the sweetness of love in our heart, because love will take us up any mountain. Love will take us through any storm. Love will take us through any discord, because that soft spot of love in our heart is the truth of who we are. It's the truth of where we live. And it's the truth of that energy that we bring forth in this world. And as you do, you will find people gathering around you, people of like mind, people of like consciousness, people of like beliefs, people of like faith. And you will also find people of not like mind, of not like consciousness, of not like beliefs, who haven't done the work, who haven't found that soft spot in their heart yet, will fall away. And before long, that danger has passed, like that woman in Terry's dream. I'm going to face my fear. And when we do, fear whispers, don't try. Don't trust. Don't love again. What if I fail? But to those whispers of fear, I invite you to bring forth that oneness of that softness of your heart and say, love is the answer to anything. Love is the answer to everything. Love is who you are. Love is who you came here to be. Love is what you came here to speak and see and feel and taste and live. So to those whispers of fear, shout the wonders of your faith. I am love. I am worthy. I am one. And before long, we are not stopped because Spirit said stop. And we no longer stop because fear convinces us that it has the power, but we move forward by facing away from fear and facing our faith in the direction we want to be going, in the direction of love, in the direction of light, and in the direction of truth. Use wisdom as your brake on an icy hill. Use wisdom as your brake when your belief in your spiritual knowledge gets ahead of where you truly are. Take a break, pull back, contemplate. But whatever you do, don't let fear become your parking brake in life. You're not meant to sit in one spot for very long, except perhaps for that spot in your heart. And that softness of love, that's the truth of who we are. You can spend a long time there. That's okay. That's okay. But don't sit in one parking spot too long. Pause when you must. Pray when you are uncertain. But when Spirit says go, take your foot off fear and move forward in faith. Driving lesson number 6, keep those tires in balance. The tires of body and mind and heart and spirit. How can we find a way from the miraculous of that extraordinary love within that we are, from that soft spot of love within that we are, and bring it forth, that extraordinary, amazing, marvelous, miraculous energy of who we are into the extraordinary of the world? Sometimes we can do it by just taking a look at the tires on our car. 4 tires on a car remind us to keep our lives in balance. Number one thing in ministerial school, I was getting A's, and the dean said, "We've got a problem with your grades." I said, "There can't be a problem with my grades. I've only gotten 1 B. And she said, "That's the problem. You have too many A's, and you're out of balance." She said, "I'd rather see a C in there and a whole lot more B's and have you be in balance than have you be academically brilliant." Or are you acing out in life? You're doing something so well, but you're missing out on the beauty of life. Keep those tires in balance. 1 tire is our humanity, keeping us grounded and compassionate. 1 tire is our divinity, reminding us we are guided by something sacred within. 1 tire, and boy, this is my blessed tire, is creativity. Creativity. Helping us imagine new roads forward. 1 tire is our connectivity, reminding us we're not meant to travel alone. 1 tire is flat, the whole ride becomes rough. The whole ride becomes rough. And it doesn't matter where your car is pointed or what your intention is. If you have a flat tire, you need to pause and refresh and reflect and take care of that tire that's out of balance. If you're physically out of balance and you're tired, you need to rest. You need to see your doctor. You need to do what you need to do to get that vitality back. If your creativity is blocked, you need to find a spiritual plumber and get it unblocked. I guess a spiritual plumber would be prayer and faith and hope and journaling. Find yourself a spiritual plumber, unblock that creativity. Because when our humanity, our divinity, and our creativity and connectivity are working together as one, we travel farther with more grace, more purpose, and more love. As master mechanics of our life, and that's what becoming a spiritual mechanic is all about, becoming a master mechanic of our life, and knowing that we have the power to repair, to restore, and to rejuvenate the love in our hearts. The reason we repair and restore and rejuvenate the love in our hearts through the driving lessons of our life is so that we can come to know beyond knowing. We are never alone. We are never alone on the journey back to ourselves. What's possible is being at home in the heart of love along the journey back to yourself. And that journey back to yourself that we've been on today through our spiritual driving lessons is back to that softness and that sweetness and that serenity of that soft spot in our heart. So in a world that could benefit most from your softness and your sweetness and your serenity, I ask you, do you have the courage in the face at times of great difficulty, at times in the face of great discord, at times in the face of great disharmony? Do you have the courage to stay vulnerable by honoring the spiritual roadmap of your life? Recently, I was driving home and passed a group of children playing in the rain. Anything magical, more magical than playing in the rain? How many as a kid? Nothing more magical in the history of the world. The puddles and the splish and the splash and the laughter and the joy and completely drenched. Tracking mud into the house. How wonderful was that? Oh, that's a reaction button for my mom. Mud in the house. Nothing like playing in the rain. Laughter in the rain. I see you remembering, yeah. I think we have a universal truth here. Recently, I was driving home and passed a group of children playing in the rain, and I turned on my headlights, not just for visibility, but as a sign to them that I saw them, I was present, and I cared for them. A young girl looked up and shouted, "I like how your light shines." And I smiled, and that was the moment that I knew I was shining my light within in the world by the way I was maintaining and driving my car in the world without. Jim Terrell shares this about driving lessons, your spiritual roadmap. A car can be a comforting companion that can teach us to be the master mechanics of not just fixing what's under the hood, but of revealing what's within our hearts. Some of us need a love tune-up. Some of us need a love realignment. Some of us need a complete love overhaul. And some of us just need to review the owner's manual for life. The owner manual for life that we talked about today. Rear view mirror. Don't look back at yesterday's sunset. Look ahead to tomorrow's sunrise. Steering wheel. Steer the car in the direction you desire to go. Owner's manual for life. Tires. Keep them in balance. Owner's manual for life. Drive to the edge of the light you can see and keep going and keep going and keep going. Engine. Listen to the silence of the engine within. Listen to the silence of your heart within. Listen to the silence of your soul within. And brakes. Don't let fear slow you down. That's our talk today. How we can bring that extraordinary that Yve sang in her first song, that miraculous that's in our hearts and our souls and our lives, how we can keep that vulnerability of that soft spot in our heart open so that the love can expand us and grow us into the person we were meant to be and become. And by so doing, we become the light that lights the world. We become the love that heals the world. And mostly become the compassionate and kind and caring person that learns to listen, to hear, to see, and to be seen. The person I would most like you to take that broomstick in the garage, put it to your heart and your ear, try to, can't quite do that, but what I'd most like you to listen to, yes, the roadmap, your spiritual roadmap, the car that you're driving, but mostly I'd like you to listen this week into that silence of the engine of your heart and your soul, and how you stay vulnerable in a world that invites you to harden. How do you stay soft like butter and keep that soft spot open and expanding and growing? And that's our talk today, driving lessons, your spiritual roadmap. And so I will benedict us out, and understand we do a 5-step prayer, but benediction is speaking good benediction words, speaking good words about what transpired here today. I'm knowing that what transpired at CSL Beaumont today was perfect divine energy arriving in exact right time, not in clock time, but in divine right time. I'm knowing the energy of the music. I'm knowing the energy of the prayers. I'm knowing the energy of the talk. I'm knowing the energy of the center. I'm knowing the energy of the softness, of the vulnerability of most of the hearts in this room is embracing the center with love. It's embracing the center with light. It's always and only bringing that frequency of faith and hope and trust. And so in that feeling of faith and hope and trust, that soft spot in our hearts, that oneness of love, that right here and right now, through driving lessons, through divine wisdom, through direct connect with that marvelous within, we bring the magnificent without. And together I invite us to say, and so it is.
Let's sing Let There Be Peace. I like that right there. Let there be peace. Choir. I should make you stand up, but I don't want you to swish your robes, for the people who are listening. Sing. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Drive that car now. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, family all are we. We'll walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joy. So excellent.
All right, now we will have our giving statement, and we invite the ushers to come forward. And I invite us to read this together, and from that softness and that openness of our heart that I hope you felt here today, I invite us to read this together. I give and receive freely and generously with an open heart and an open mind. The universe responds to me in kind. I know that my beloved community is richly blessed, and so it is. If you're online, you can go to cslbeaumont.org, our love streamers, and there's a donate button right there on the top of our website. If you use Zelle, you can Zelle that to our main office number at 951-845-6328. You can also Zelle from the sanctuary, and you can text GIVE to 951-420-6909. We have a credit card and machine that accepts plastic. So if you'd like to do it that way, that's great. But mostly what I want you to know today, as we come to the end of this service, is that your real gift and your true gift is the presence of that softness, of that soft spot in your heart. That's what you bring. That's what you bring to the world. That's what you bring to the center. That's what you bring to life. And so I thank you for your willingness to do the work, those who have, to open that heart, to be soft and to be gentle and kind in your words, in your speech, in your walk, in your talk. That's our teaching. That's our teaching. And I hope you found something here today, a little nugget you can take home, guide you through the week. And I hope that nugget might be when you go to open your car. And I remember this when I first did a seatbelt. I couldn't figure out how to use it as a teenager. Do you push it or pull it? And, I couldn't figure out how to use it. And then it just clicked, right? And then I got my new car, and it was a keyless ignition, right? The keyless ignition. And I couldn't figure out what did I do. And then I took the little fob, and I just clicked, and it opened. And so what I want you to know is I hope something clicked for you here today. Something clicked in your heart, something clicked in your soul. But mostly, when you look at your car this week, I want you to experience your car in a whole new way. And not just listen into your engine of your car, but listen in to the quiet of the engine of your heart and your soul. So ends our service. We have full lunch in Carter Hall. Adrian Madden is wearing a practitioner stole in the back. If you will follow him to the prayer room, he will be doing prayers. If you have anything heavy on your heart and you'd like to lighten it up, that's what prayer does. It'll lighten it, it'll shift that energy. And practitioner Adrian will be holding prayer in the prayer room, so follow Adrian. And after that, or if you're not going for prayer, join us for a full fellowship lunch. I would love to connect with you, Tammy and Richard. I haven't seen you in a while, so we will connect with you in there. All right, have a blessed Sunday. Lunch, prayer. Good seeing you.